Steven, an old gambler who's been hustling in Las Vegas for half his life. The acne on his face hasn't even cleared up, yet here he is, gripping a mic and rambling, probably about to piss off some folks again. For Steven, the most infuriating secrets aren't the conspiracies hidden in the shadows, but the ones happening right under your nose, plain as day, only hitting you like a ton of bricks when the truth finally dawns. You're standing on the Las Vegas Strip, neon lights flashing, crowds surging, poker tables buzzing in the casinos, but beneath it all, there's some shady business that'll make your skin crawl. Today, Steven's gonna lift the veil on two secrets. One, an unemployment crisis quietly spreading through Sin City, and another that's even more jaw-dropping. If Steven's hunch is right, the casinos might be exploiting legal loopholes to dodge reporting mass layoffs. This could have been going on for a whole year, maybe even longer. Let's walk and talk, dig up some dirt along the strip, like flipping over a crucial card. 1, 2, 3. Let's get to it. Las Vegas, the city infamous for sin and indulgence, always knows how to hide the truth behind its glitzy facade. You stroll down the strip, seeing dazzling casinos, tuxedo-clad waiters, and tourists throwing around cash like it's nothing. But have you ever stopped to think about the lives of the dealers shuffling your cards, the waiters serving your drinks, or the housekeepers cleaning your rooms? 59%. That's the unemployment rate in Las Vegas. Scary, right? 330,000. That's the number of people directly or indirectly living off the casinos and hotels. Behind those numbers are real families who might have to pack up and leave the city they call home because of a single layoff. Steven still remembers Las Vegas 20 years ago, a totally different scene. Back then, the casino business was booming, and employee benefits were so good they'd make your eyes pop. Dealers could rake in thousands in tips a month, and waiters' wages plus commissions were enough to buy a little house in the suburbs. But now, economic data tells Steven the city's pulse is weakening. Tourist numbers are dropping, and while casino revenue is still climbing, it's nowhere near the growth of the old days. Why? Because tourists' spending habits have changed. Before, gamblers came to Las Vegas to bet big. Now, they're here to snap photos, catch a show, or eat a trendy steak at a hot restaurant. The poker tables aren't as lively anymore, but the casinos still put on a business-as-usual mask. Speaking of layoffs, one number has Steven's attention. Less than 50. Not just some random figure. It's a clue he spotted on a casino news site. Steven's buddy Corey wrote an article about layoffs at the Venetian. The number? Less than 50. Sounds fishy, doesn't it? This isn't a coincidence. It's the casino's secret code. Why always less than 50? It's all about the WARN Act, Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, designed to protect workers by giving them a heads up before mass layoffs so they can find new jobs. But if every layoff is kept under 50 people, the law doesn't kick in. Clever, huh? Take this, for example. In March, Resorts World laid off fewer than 50 people. In April, MGM International axed 34 concierge staff, claiming tourists prefer chatting with AI bots. In May, Fontainebleau went hard, cutting 60 dealers, with security escorting them out like criminals through the lobby. A straight-up insult to their dignity. By summer, Treasure Island had a second round of layoffs. Again, fewer than 50. That number keeps popping up, doesn't it? It's like a cheater at the poker table using the same trick every time. You don't find that suspicious? The WARN Act says layoffs of 50 or more require a 60-day notice to workers, giving them a buffer. But if casinos cut fewer than 50 people every 30 days across different locations, they sidestep that hurdle. The Strip's got plenty of spots. Planet Hollywood, Aria Vidara, MGM Grand, New York, you name it. Casino groups have properties like chips on a table. They can spread layoffs across different casinos, 49 at a time, never tripping the legal wire. It's a textbook dodge. You might wonder why the mainstream media is so quiet about this. Simple, Las Vegas media's been tamed by the casinos. They're scared of losing access, of being shut out of those crystal palaces, so they tiptoe around casino business. You'll occasionally see a small blurb in the paper with a breezy headline and vague details, avoiding the heavy stuff. Flip through the local Vegas papers, layoff news is always in tiny print, tucked in a corner, like they're afraid of upsetting the big money. Steven's different. He's just an old gambler who loves telling it like it is, no fear. Want the real deal? Subscribe and piece the puzzle together yourself. This city's tradition of burying stories isn't new. Back in 1967, the Orbit in explosion. A deranged army ranger set off a bomb next to a casino, shaking the whole street like an earthquake. And what happened? The city bigwigs managed to keep it out of East Coast papers entirely. Since then, this downplay everything tactic has been Vegas's unwritten rule. Back to the layoffs, how are the affected workers doing? Stephen met a waitress named Mary on the Strip, a single mom with 2 kids. She worked at Fontainebleau for 5 years, always smiling, serving plates until her wrists ached. Then came the May layoffs. She got optimized. Mary told Stephen that security took her straight to the back door, not even giving her time to grab her stuff. She stood in the casino parking lot, crying like a kid. She said, "Stephen, I worked here 5 years, thought this job would carry me to retirement. Now I can't even pay rent." Mary's story isn't unique. 330,000 casino-related workers. Each one's got a family, dreams, and bills. A layoff isn't just a number. It's a life falling apart. Kids can't go to summer camp, mortgages go unpaid, credit card bills pile up. Las Vegas calls itself the city of opportunity, but for these laid-off workers, it's more like a black hole swallowing dreams. You might think casinos are cutting jobs because business is bad. But the truth is, their profits are still rising. They're just finding new ways to save money, like AI and automation. MGM International ditched concierge staff, saying tourists prefer chatbots. Sound familiar? Even dealers' jobs are now at risk from machines. Stephen's friend saw an automated dealing machine in a Macau casino, precise as a cold-blooded killer. Vegas will catch up soon, and when it does, how many veteran dealers will be out the door? Stephen's not against tech progress, but swapping human warmth for AI. Is that what Sin City's supposed to be? The charm of a casino lies in the dealer chatting with you, flashing a knowing smile. But now, casino bosses only see efficiency and costs. They'd rather buy a machine than pay for an employee's insurance. This trend reminds Stephen of an old gambler saying, "Losing at the table's not scary. What's scary is not even getting a seat." Las Vegas casinos were never charities. Their history is an epic of calculation and gambles. In the 1950s, when Sin City was just starting, the mob ran most casinos, and a wrong move by an employee could get them handled. By the 80s, corporations replaced the mob, but the calculating core stayed the same. The 2008 financial crisis saw a layoff wave that sucked the soul out of the city. During the 2020 pandemic, layoffs were routine. Now, in 2025, this invisible layoff wave is just history repeating itself. Stephen dug up some old records. In the 1970s, the desert used the same less than 50 trick when cutting jobs. Nobody noticed back then because the media was even quieter. But now, Stephen's got YouTube, social media, secrets can't hide anymore. Standing here with a mic, he just wants these stories to be heard. As an old gambler, Stephen learned one thing at the poker table. Never fully trust the dealer's smile. Casinos grin at tourists but aren't so kind to employees. They play the less than 50 numbers game to protect their earnings and stock prices, leaving countless families to pay the price. You might say, "Stephen, it's just business. Casinos have to survive." But Stephen asks you, why do the lowest-rung workers always bear the cost of survival? Stephen remembers 2008, when his old pal Bill, a baccarat dealer, got laid off during the financial crisis and never returned to casino work. Bill told him, "Stephen, this place deals you cards but treats you like a chip." Stephen's carried those words for years. Now, seeing these less than 50 layoffs, he thinks Bill nailed it. What's next for Las Vegas? Stephen's no prophet, but the data doesn't lie. 7 straight months of economic decline, shifting tourist spending habits, and the invasion of AI and automation are forcing casinos to reshuffle. But their choice, sacrificing workers instead of rethinking their strategies, could cost the city its soul. Those people, with their sweat and smiles, are what keep this neon jungle alive, and they're slipping away bit by bit. Stephen stands on the Strip, looking at familiar signs. Caesar's Palace, Bellagio, Venetian, they're still dazzling, but something's missing. Maybe it's Joe's steadiness, Mary's smile, or Bill's banter. This city isn't just poker tables and slot machines. It's these people's stories. Las Vegas's casino culture wasn't built in a day. In the late 19th century, it was just a desert outpost living off railroads and mining. In 1931, Nevada legalized gambling, and Las Vegas began its transformation into Sin City. In the 40s, mob boss Bugsy Siegel built the Flamingo, kicking off the city's golden age. Back then, casinos were adventurers' playgrounds, and dealers and workers were treated like royalty, with benefits that made outsiders jealous. But the good times didn't last. By the 60s, corporations started replacing the mob, turning casinos into cold, hard machines. In the 80s, giants like MGM Grand and Caesars Palace rose, hiring tons of workers but chasing profits even harder. The 2008 financial crisis showed Stephen the city's brutal side. He knew an old bartender, Tom, who worked 15 years, only to be cut overnight without a goodbye. Tom later opened a small bar in Reno, telling everyone, "Las Vegas? That place eats you up and spits out the bones." Behind the layoff numbers are real stories. Stephen met a housekeeper named Amy at Treasure Island, in her 50s with nearly 20 years on the job. She pushed her cleaning cart, polished marble floors, and greeted tourists with a smile. Last year's layoffs got her. Told her position was optimized. No explanation. Amy told Stephen she'd saved up for her daughter's college tuition, but after the layoff, her daughter had to drop out and work. She said, "Stephen, I don't blame the casinos for making money, but don't I deserve a little dignity?" Then there's Carlos, a dealer who was once a poker pro. He told Stephen that on layoff day, the manager didn't even look up, just handed him a notice. Carlos said, "I worked here 12 years, trained countless new dealers, and in the end, they didn't even say thank you." These stories hit Stephen hard. Casinos shine because of these people's sweat, but when push comes to shove, they're treated like spare chips. Casinos are masters of calculation. At the tables, they use odds and psychology to take your money. In the boardroom, they use layoffs and automation to boost profits. Stephen checked public financials. In 2024, Vegas's top casino groups raked in over $20 billion, but labor costs keep dropping. How? Layoffs, pay cuts, and those cold machines. Stephen's seen a casino's smart scheduling system backstage, adjusting shifts based on foot traffic, down to the minute. Sounds fancy, right? But for workers, it means being called in for last-minute shifts or told, "No work for you today." One waitress told Stephen she's down to 20 hours a week, barely covering rent. That's the casino's efficiency, treating people like machines. AI and automation are Sin City's new darlings. MGM replaced concierges with chatbots, Fontainebleau tested automated ordering systems, and slot machines now use algorithms to fine-tune your wins and losses. Stephen saw a fully automated baccarat table in Macau, with the dealer just a figurehead pushing buttons. If that hits Vegas, how many veteran dealers will be out of a job? Stephen's not a Luddite. He's all for progress. But Vegas's charm lies in its people. The dealer who chats you up, the waiter with a sly grin. That's the flavor of Sin City. Now, casino bosses only see costs and profits, itching to replace everyone with machines. Stephen asks you, a casino full of machines, is that still the heart-pounding Las Vegas? As an old gambler, Stephen's learned a few rules at the table. Don't trust the dealer's smile, always keep a card up your sleeve, and you've got to be able to lose to play long. The casino's schemes against workers are just like their table tricks. They play the less than 50 game to protect their bottom line, leaving families to foot the bill. You might say, "Stephen, it's just business. Casinos need to survive." But Stephen asks, why do the lowest workers always pay the price? Stephen's old buddy Frank, a former pro gambler turned casino manager for a decade, said, "Stephen, in this place, the house always wins. Workers, gamblers, even small shareholders, they're just cards in their hand." That stuck with Stephen, reminding him of the 2008 layoff wave. Bill, Tom, Amy, all names dealt out by the house. Las Vegas's future hinges on whether it can reclaim its soul. 7 months of economic decline, changing tourist habits, and the creep of AI and automation are forcing a reshuffle. But their choice, sacrificing workers instead of rethinking strategies, might bleed out the city's heart, those people who keep this neon-lit world alive with their sweat and smiles. Stephen stands on the strip, eyeing those familiar signs. Caesar's Palace, Bellagio, Venetian, they're still dazzling, but something's off. Maybe it's the absence of Joe's steadiness, Mary's smile, or Bill's banter. This city isn't just about tables and slots. It's about these people's stories.